America, and welcome to Bona Retsang. This is the only youth news magazine show that entertains, educates and informs you on the news here in South Africa and all over the world.
That is right, PK. This show gives you guys a chance to voice your opinions on any issue affecting you and your community. Please guys, remember to drop us a post on our Facebook page, or you can always tweet us at Bona Retsang. Also, check out our funky website for detailed information on the presenters and the show.
I'm sure you are ready to find out more about what we have in store for you today, so let's not waste any more time and check it out.
First up, we take a look at domestic violence in South Africa.
Then we find out what's happening in the world of entertainment.
On Stramto, we explore the effects of rape and violence on young children.
Then Boogeyman Baba gives us his take on this week's news.
Well, I can tell you guys, it looks like it is definitely going to be a great show, and I can definitely assure you that it will be. But now we move straight into the big buzz story. Now, the past few weeks we have been reporting on rape and violence against women and children.
Yes, Zach, and with so much awareness, you would think that violence in SA would cease. But unfortunately, it seems to have continued, and a prominent South African sportsman seems to have got himself in the middle of it all. Gino, our action man, reports.
Love hurts. It starts when Cupid shoots arrows through your heart. Then somebody comes and takes that already punished heart of yours and breaks it into tiny little pieces. What happens when the breaking doesn't stop there? When a broken heart is matched by a broken arm, broken legs, broken ribs, broken homes. It is reported that violence against women that leads to death is 5 times higher in South Africa than anywhere else in the world. 2 weeks ago, Olympic athlete Oscar Pistorius faced charges of murder after he allegedly shot his supermodel girlfriend, Riva Steenkamp, 4 times in the early hours of Valentine's Day. She was found dead when the police arrived. Oliver Nathan, a Paralympic who knew Oscar Pistorius in his early childhood and trained with him in preparation for the 2004 Olympics, tells us how he never thought Oscar was capable of something like this.
With the news that was flying around last week, the allegations that started on Valentine's Day and Thursday, with him having shot his girlfriend at the time, Riva Steenkamp, how did you take that news?
Oh, I was absolutely devastated. I mean, it was really the last thing I was expecting. I was really quite upset by the news, and yeah, as you know, as a friend, as someone you know, whoever it is, you want to give them the benefit of the doubt. So it really was quite devastating.
Domestic violence is a scary reality that most South Africans are faced with. The youth share their views about domestic violence, how it affects them, and how they think it should be dealt with.
My understanding of domestic violence, I would say, like, it's violence within a relationship, and the way it starts happening is when one comes home stressed and starts relieving the stress over the other to try gain control.
South Africa is becoming more in a violent way that, you know, people, I don't know how to explain it, but actually it's in its anger, you know.
And, you know, they say it's a free country. We can, you know, do whatever we want to do, but we don't really feel safe in society because we know that if I walk outside, I might get raped. And as a woman, you feel very unsafe because you don't know what's out there. You know, you don't really know who to turn to because you might get raped by someone you actually know. And domestic violence, it doesn't necessarily have to happen outside in the streets. It happens in the, you know, at home too, where we're supposed to feel the safest, you know.
Initiatives such as 16 Days of Activism and organizations such as Speak Out, 1 Billion Rising and Rhodes University's 1 in 9 protest are doing their bit to bring an awareness to gender-based violence in South Africa, in the hopes of one day putting an end to it. For more information or to find out how you can help, contact Stop Gender Violence's helpline at 0800 150 150. This is Gino Shedile for BR.
This is a very sensitive topic that affects a lot more people in our country than I realized. Let's all stand together and unite against domestic violence. And who knows, guys, with enough effort, anything is possible. But for now, let's head over to see what's in store in today's World What's Up. This is where we take a closer look at a story that's been in the international spotlight.
With Pope Benedict recently stepping down from his position, the search is on to find his replacement. We take a look at whether one's race defines one's religion.
The world is a diverse place filled with people of different races, languages, and religions. Yet, to most people, some things are still hard to imagine. For example, how many of us have met a black Jew, an Indian Christian, a Chinese Catholic, or a white Muslim? As the Catholic Pope, Benedict XVI is set to step down from his position on Thursday. Cardinal Peter Appiah Turkson of Ghana is one of 2 Africans considered eligible to replace him. Is the world ready for an African Pope? We headed to a school in Johannesburg to hear the pupils' views on race and religion.
I don't think religion is defined by race.
You can follow a religion that you want to follow.
If you are particularly fond or desire to be in a certain religion, you can do it.
If you're Chinese, you can be Christian, or white, you can be Jewish, or being a Sangoma, because it's your choice, it's your right.
If it's God's will for Pope to be there, yes, for Black Pope to be there, it's fine. But if it's not God's will, it will not be there. It won't happen.
Some people would say that the fact that there are still questions like, is the world ready for an African Pope, indicate that there is a problem, and perhaps one that needs to be addressed. Religion should not be defined by race or language. Rather, it should stem from a willingness to follow a belief that best represents someone's faith, interests, and understanding.
Wow, a black pope. Now that is what I call progression, and something that I'm sure I'm not alone in wanting to see. Next up is News Recap, and this is where we take a look at what's been happening in the news over the past couple of weeks. On the 14th of February, President Zuma gave his State of the Nation address. So let's cross over to Gino for his take on what it all means for young South Africans like you and me.
On February the 14th, President of South Africa, Jacob Zuma, delivered the State of the Nation address at Parliament in Cape Town. Now, before you change the channel and think that this is one of those shows where old people say things they don't mean, give us a minute to break down what was said in the address, what you need to know, and what you can ignore. The first thing you need to know is that the President tweets and he's on Facebook, so if you have any complaints, questions, comments about what we're about to tell you, or just want to say hi to him, you can do it on these handles. As always, President Jacob Zuma promised jobs, water, electricity, houses, sanitation, public transport, education, healthcare, and a clean environment to all. 98 new schools are scheduled to be built by the end of March, with 40 of them being in the Eastern Cape, and 2 new universities will be built in the Northern Cape and Mpumalanga. This means that you no longer have to go stay at your cousin's house to attend a nearby school, or be exiled into the next province to study for a degree after matric. Zuma also said that teachers will be paid better salaries. Happy teachers equals better education and smarter kids. Companies owned by the government have also been asked to provide learnerships to 11,000 FET graduates. So forget sitting around after varsity. There's plenty of work that needs to be done. In terms of housing, the government has set aside 126 million rand to help those who earn too much to qualify for an RDP house and too little to get a bond. Now auntie and uncle and older brother can finally get the house that they've been praying for. President Zuma ended the address by wishing everybody a happy Valentine's Day. A little outdated now, but what a nice president we have. This is Gino Shedile for BR.
Yeah, at least now you guys know what you can expect from your government over the next 12 months. Let's hope they deliver on what our president has promised us.
Up next, we have a treat for you guys. A new segment that's going to keep you talking about what's happening in the world of entertainment and gossip. If you're wondering what I'm on about, then let's head straight over to Umgosi.
It's time for you to get your Umgosi for this week. It is, of course, the award season in the States, so let's take a look at the fashion hits and misses for this year's Grammys. Never mind, I'll find someone like you. No, Adele, take those words back, because that frock that you're wearing will clearly chase the guys away. I mean, isn't that my Gogo's floral sofa? Up next is Kimbra. Well, remember that song? Now you're just somebody that I used to know. She's that girl in that video, but you know what? She clearly seems to be an alien that might have fell off that asteroid that recently paid us a visit, because that outfit is totally out of this world, and that's not anything good. No. But on the good side, we have to give it up to my girl, Uriri. Guess getting back with Chris Brizzy is really making you glow. effortless beauty from Taylor Swift in her flowing cream gown. Taylor, my girl, with a beautiful dress like that, I can assure you, you won't be needing to write any ex-boyfriend tracks because no man will want to leave you, sister. Well, that's it for this week's Go. See you next week for more entertainment news. That was definitely a killer and I cannot stop laughing. So while I try to catch my breath, let's take a quick ad break, and when we return, it's time for Scamto. You're back on Bona Retsang and you're just in time for Scamto. This is where we take a look at the issues that may be affecting you and your community.
Now, with all the programs and initiatives relating to violence against women and children being highlighted these past few weeks, we decided to explore the issue further in today's installment of Scamto.
Every South African, including the youth, have rights. But how powerful are these rights on a piece of paper? Can they ensure that you get a better education, or can they keep you safe from being violated?
Bengizobhala second paper yami life science. So wafika lo bhuti then wathi ucathi ngimkhaphe ayilanda into ezokucula bengicula ikhwaya. So ngamkhapha ngaya khona lapha kwakhe. Then wathi ke mama phepha phezulu kombhede. Ngaye ngayolanda mangithi ngiyambheka umuntu uvala umnyango. Then wangiphushela phezulu kombhede. Bengizama ukumlwisa mara beke overpower. So azangakwazi wangivala umlomo wangikhulele ibhroko. For mina ngizisa ubuhlungu because lo muntu ngiyambona esikolweni njalo make ngibona mfisana ahleke. Bengikhuluma nomunye usisa la ethi siyaphumelela, and then wangitshela ukuthi if ngibuyela ama first blacks ngiboyenzani, and then if khona into ebuhlungu ngcono ngikhale, if angikhali ngibhale.
The Teddy Bear Clinic works with children that have been abused sexually. Let me try to explain one situation where we find that the case has been reported again that the child still have contact with the abuser. It's still responsibility of the caregiver to go back to the police.
Ngibonile nge-full support yasekhaya wonke umuntu angisupport and mama encourage ukuthi ngesikolweni.
When a child is being violated, what is mostly important is not to report the matter. Is to start first with your nearest health clinic. Then after that is then the case can be reported.
Khathuvula icala waboshwa lo bhuti lo.
Yeah, waboshwa.
Waboshwa insuku engaka?
2 days, lesi-3 wawaphuma.
I-lawyer se-South Africa ikusizile?
Azange ingisize because bengifuna i-justice.
When you're dealing with an investigation officer, there are people that are superior, like your captains, your colonel of that police station, or the station commander. She needs to go through those ranks to say this is a case that I have reported and have not getting any joy. They're the one that needs to take responsibility because those matters needs to be reported within the structures of SAPS.
Bebengakwazi like accept umuntu nale uphuma kulesimo ngiphuma kuso. Bebe like bathi uzofail into ezinjalo ngeke aphumelele in life, so mara ngicine sengiphumelela ngabashiya ku-11 mina ngaphosela grade 12.
To all of the youth of Mzansi, this is an extremely relevant issue that we have to deal with every day, even if we are not directly affected. Remember guys that you need to speak out if you have been violated. Get a hold of the Teddy Bear Clinic and get your case heard.
I have to second that notion, Zach, but moving on, it's now time for Be Media Wise, where we choose a short video taken on one of our viewers' cell phones.
And I'm here at Langlaagberg, THS, and basically my report is about how it affects our schoolwork in terms of how what you gain after and what really affects you, how your schoolwork lacks, and why do you really get a task. Let's go and find out. How does it affect your schoolwork and how it affects you? So if
I have been in love before. I was dating this guy from school and he actually hurt me.
concentrate on school, classes, and I actually failed it here. Yeah.
So what was the solution?
Well, I spoke about it, like I just spoke about it to my friends, and then I suddenly got over the boy. And then now it's okay. I just see him with other girls and I'm cool with it.
Thank you. Don't you do something? Let's go find some more information. Okay, so tell me, do you disagree or agree about how the situation love affects schoolwork, say you get emotionally depressed and stuff like that?
I actually disagree because umuntu uyazenza ukuthi you can't just fail because of a guy. It doesn't mean that Nachola means that you are now married. Now, get over it, girl.
But you
Move on.
You get the point that you get too attached and you get emotionally involved. It's not like you only the one person, but you get involved.
You get involved. This move is key.
How do you do that?
It's key. How do you do that? Because the fact that we are now move on with your life.
Is that easy? Is that easy for you?
Yes, for me it is easy.
So you know what they say? People say books before boys because boys give you babies. So stick around, stick to your books, and you know what you get.
Really interesting clip there. Remember guys, if you want your video to feature on our show, all you have to do is send your clip to our WhatsApp number, our BBM pin, or our Facebook page.
But now it's time for Ringa Nati. This is another start for you to get involved and voice your opinions on topics or stories that we've brought you on the show. This week's topic was, what is steez or swag? Let's go out and take a look at what you guys had for us.
I've been noticing a lot of people have been like talking about swag, and like for the past couple of years people have been like on that swag tip. A new term has come up, which is steez. I think I'm all about steez. For me it's like style with ease.
Swag, when you look at people like all dressed up as swag, just see like baggy pants, you know what to expect. You know?
For me though, steez it's not just about like your dress sense, it's about the way you present yourself also, bro. Like the way you speak, the way you walk.
Because if you got the swag on you, you need to speak like a rapper or something. Yo, you know what's up. Now if you got steez, you know, you have to be presentable, so your language also changes. Back in the 60s, they used to use swag.
I think it was just about class back then in the 60s. Though. When it comes to steez, you can't buy steez. It comes from the heart. That's what I think.
Wow, I really didn't know things ran that deep when it came to the world of steez or swag. But before we move on with the show, let's take a look at your responses to last week's poll question. It went like this. Do you think education will lower the rates of rape? 100% of you guys agree.
Well, I have to say that is a very interesting turnout. This week's poll goes like this. Do you think that Zuma will deliver on all the promises he made in his State of the Nation speech? You guys can go to our Facebook page to answer it.
When we return, we check out what this week's Bona Vibe is all about. And of course, BR will never be BR without our main man, Boogerman's opinion on this week's news. So stay right there. Welcome back to Bona Retsang, the show that allows you guys to tell us what's up in your hood. Don't forget to interact with us on our Facebook page by clicking the like button, or you can also follow the little birdie over to Twitter and see what's happening there.
Well said, PK. But now it is time for us to head over to Bona Vibes. This is where we've got more for you on the 1 Billion Rising campaign. My girl, PK, was at the scene for Bona Retsang.
It is the 14th of February and people all around the world are celebrating Valentine's Day, but we are here at Wits University for the 1 Billion Rising campaign. Many people around the country are going to be joining together to make sure that we fight against women and children violence. So, what are we doing here? I think we should go find out.
The 1 Billion Rising campaign is a global campaign to get women all over the world to rise on this day, Valentine's Day, to say we're tired of violence against women globally in all its forms.
You have to speak about it. It can't be a secret. The only way that we can really deal with it is if you report the cases, and I know it's easier said than done.
I am rising today in rage. And I'm dancing today in love. Love for ourselves and rage at the unmarked monsters that brutalize women everywhere. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise. I rise. I rise.
Would you like to see the little moves that we came up with?
Well, let me attempt to dance, and you guys at home should also try. I tried. I'm not a dancer, but thank you so much for teaching us to dance. We are here from Vets, going back to studio. This is Bona Retsang.
That looked like a good workout, PK. It's great when your job allows you to get involved in campaigns like this one.
It really is fulfilling, Zaki, my boy, and it is an honor to be involved in such a huge effort. We are coming to the end of the show, but you know we can never leave you without giving you the awesome man, Bugu Mam Boba's wrap of this week's news.
But from us here in studio, peace.
Welcome to Bona Retsang. It's your boy Boogerman to the B, Boogerman Boba. Yes, I'm going to give you a wrap-up of this week's news. And the Oscar goes to jail. That is a tweet by international comedian Trevor Noah. This tweet got him into so much trouble because the public thought he was joking about the incident where Oscar Pistorius shot his girlfriend on Valentine's Day. Now, Oscar, Bullet for My Valentine is a band, not an idea for a gift.
Sounds sexy.
Next up, Sipuma Rapulana was released from jail after he allegedly slapped a female friend of his. Now, this is crazy. I'm not even surprised, though. This guy played a gangster on the movie Jerusalem. Someone tell this guy to not take his work home. Some people take their jobs too serious, man. President Jacob Zuma has spoken out against all this violence against women. He said, all this violence against women is wrong. This violence is because of apartheid. I mean, apartheid, really? Are we always going to blame apartheid for all the problems that we face today? He says, we must not beat our women. We must marry them. I mean, really, can you just see that in the next ANC campaign? We do not beat women, we marry them. All right, and moving on to African news, a group of French tourists were arrested in Zimbabwe for allegedly being rude. I mean, next time you take a trip down to Zimbabwe, please, please, please remember your magic words, please and thank you. Otherwise, you might end up in a Zimbabwean jail. I wonder if Zimbabwe used the magic words during the revolution. I do not see Mugabe saying, can I please have the country? Can I please have a free and fair election? No, he didn't. Moving on to some celebrity news, actress Minnie Dlamini reportedly returned a BMW that she got from Itumeleng Khune after the alleged breakup. She was crying like, I thought he was a keeper. But yeah, he is a keeper, but not that kind of keeper, Minnie. It's obvious that Minnie lost herself a great catch. All right, guys, that's it from me, Boogerman Bob. I'll see you next week with next week's news. You know how we do it here on Bona Retsang, all day, a day. Holla black.